Okay, so one of the viewers on my channel asked a question about the 5/16 cord rocket. Um, I'm guessing he's having an issue with it actually blowing up or cadoing whenever he's putting in some flash on the top. So I know that you said that with the black powder and you have a clay plug top and bottom, it works just fine. But the moment you put some flash in, it blows up. So sometimes with the cord rocket, it burns so quickly, especially with something so small, that if you don't put a delay in between, it'll cause it to explode very quickly. Another thing that I do that I'm not sure if you're doing is whenever you drill the hole up on the top, I'm not sure if you're putting flash in to fill the hole, or if you're putting black powder into the hole to fill, the hole that you're drilling, and then put the flash on top of that. So that could be another thing too. So if you're putting the clay up on top and then you drill your hole and then you fill that hole with flash, it can just be a little bit too fast that it's burning it, and then it's causing it to blow up, because the flash powder is going to blow up really quickly. If you're actually doing the hole, putting black powder, flash on top, and it's blowing up like that, then there may be a little issue with the what do you want to call it, the clay plug. After you're drilling it, it's probably coming weak and it's falling apart, and then it's pretty much loose at that point. There could be a different amount of things that can be going on. A lot of times whenever you're loading these guys and you don't pack it hard enough, it causes air pockets. That could be one. But you're saying that the black powder works just fine. It's just the flash part. I'm gonna go and put this camera here. It's like, I'm just gonna make a small quick rocket. It's not gonna be filled to the top all the way and all that, but I just wanted to address some issues that may be happening. I know Pyro Lazy D, he made a good I guess not discovery, well I guess it would be a really good thing that he did. So he mentioned that he takes an inch or so of a half-inch rocket and then slides it over the top, which it fits very well, and then you glue that in place and fill that with flash, stars, or whatever you want. And actually that's a really good idea, because for these 5/16 rockets, they don't actually make anything that goes on top of it. Like the half-inch rockets that I have, or I'm sorry, not even the half-inch, the Cohete rockets, the 5/8, I actually purchased insert tubes that go on the top to slide over them, just to get them to hold stars or flash or whatever. But with Pyro's Lazy D's method, that's actually a really good idea, because you can actually fill it with more flash than you would if you were to just put it on the top of this guy. And see how far we are in. I'll get a little bit more and that's it. So on this one, I'm not using the big press, even though I could, because you can just turn down the pressure like to 400, and then it'll be about less or the same as you would if you were using an arbor press. But this one I kind of wanted to just do with the hammer. Now this isn't a correct hammer for this type of thing. This hammer isn't going to give enough force for compacting the black powder into this guy. I'm just doing this as a demonstration. I'll probably end up throwing the rocket away, because I'm not going to use it with this type of hammer. You're supposed to be using a rawhide hammer, or a hammer that's pretty heavy, that'll give you enough impact whenever you hammer it. That's why I ended up upgrading to the arbor press, because I was noticing that my rocket's bigger than a 1/4 inch now. This one works perfect. This hammer works perfect for your half-inch rockets. Like, I had no issues with that. They'd fly just well, no issues. Real quick, I'm just gonna make a mark. I like to do that so I know where the black powder ends and where the clay starts. But anything bigger than a 1/4 inch, you want to start using an arbor press. The hammer method works fine, going up to half-inch and rockets like that. But you start running into problems whenever you start using the wrong hammer. It doesn't compact enough, and that's why I wanted to bring that up. So a few other things that could be happening with the rockets that are blowing up. Like I said, it could be that your flash powder is getting burned quick with the black powder, and that's causing it to blow up. I know I had an issue with my 5/16 rockets that used to just blow up like quickly. As soon as I would ignite it, even with black powder, it would just blow right up. And that's because I was using a hot mix with my 5/16, so it was actually blowing it up because of that. But then I ended up changing the black powder, ended up working out just fine. So here we have the clay bulkhead already pressed in. All right, and then I guess this is the part where you're at. So you take your drill bit and then you just drill it out, which I'm sure you're doing. You can use a small drill head or a drill bit for this. I'm just using a 1/8 because it's not really going to do anything for me as far as you know, needing to go a lot larger or smaller on the drill bit. But anyways, let me see if I can get that to show up on the camera. So right there in the camera, I can see that there's black powder mixed in there with the clay. So let me go ahead and just dump that out really quick. Okay. So, and it's going to be a little hard to see, but if you can see that, I can see that there's a nice 1/8 inch hole drilled through my clay. And hopefully the camera picks that up. So instead of dumping the flash straight into there, which is what I think a lot of people would do, you could just take a little bit of black powder to fill that void, and then now that it's nicely in there and it fills the hole, then you take your flash and then you dump a little bit in, and then you would scoop it in and throw it in that way. But because this video I wanted to do the little rocket heading, I'm going to show you that way as well. But like I mentioned, here I have the black powder already in there. It's loose, granulated black powder. I would dump the flash on top of that, and then I would take something like toilet paper, and then I would just pack it in here, right, like so, and then I would hot glue that guy in place. Now don't press it all the way down, because you still need that room for expansion of the gases on the flash powder. So, you know, you'd pack it in with your 5/16 tool, and then you would hot glue the edge right there, and then that'll allow you to create that cap at the end if you don't have any end caps for the 5/16. Now, if you're gonna do like what Pyro said, you cut a 1/2 inch tube and then you place that up top. That gives you that little amount of space to throw an extra flash powder. So that's what I'm going to be doing. But at the end of this guy, you want to put an end cap on there, and you can do that with either chipboard or clay, or not really clay, I'm sorry, what was I going to say, paper discs. You can do that. That would actually help. So another thing that you could do, which I'm gonna do off camera real quick, and I'll come back and talk about it. I'm gonna record this real quick. I didn't want to show it only because it makes a lot of noise, but let's go ahead and include it. I'm pressing this guy at 1000 psi, which is the same as you would do on an arbor press, and it doesn't break the tube because it's small. So let's go over here, and then I'll dump out the excess. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a plug in it prior to doing the tube, and that's because I still have space in here, right? So if you're going to try to do something with stars or something like that, you're not going to do this step. I'm just doing it just because, like I said, I'm not going to be using this rocket or anything like that. I mean, I may keep it for later, but for now I'm just going to go ahead and just do this process here. So I could fill this guy with flash, take my rocket and put them together like that, or fill this guy with flash. Either way, I can dump some flash in here, some in here, and then put them together if you want to do like a bigger report. But let's just go ahead and do it this way. Let's take a little flash. Now this here isn't actual flash. I want to say it's like strobe mix or something like that. I'm just using it as a representation for flash. So I wouldn't store flash in a plastic baggie like that, but okay. So that's that. And then I'll take a little bit of the flash here, dump it in here. There we go. And then just marry the two like this. And that's pretty much it. So then after you have your flash powder in there, you can lift it a little bit just to make that space in there. Take your glue gun, seal the edges, and that's pretty much it. This here is actually, like I said, is a really good idea to fill up your rockets with, because you get more powder in there, you get more bang out of it. So this is something that's actually going to help a lot of people, because sometimes with these little baby rockets you want to put a lot of flash in, and you know, a little bit of flash will still make a good amount of bang. You know, it's not like the flash is weak, but it's just, you can stick a star or two in there and have it come out the top. And then I'll just take this guy here, spin him off, and that's pretty much it. So I have my rocket nozzle, and then I have my rocket heading on there, and then the clay up top to seal it in. Hopefully this helps. The issue, like I said, if yours is canoeing with just the flash powder on top of a drilled hole, you might want to put a little barrier in between, such as black powder. You could also do some delay, so if you wanted to do your black powder, you know, ram it and then do a small increment or two of delay, which is a lot slower black powder. You can Google those are all over the internet, the difference in the delay mixture versus using this normal black powder. And then that'll cause you to have a slight delay, so that way if your cord rocket burns really quickly, it doesn't already affect the flash, because that could be what's happening. You know, your rocket's taking off and it's igniting the flash powder before you even have a chance to let the rocket fly. That could be it. So if anybody else has any suggestions, they want to comment down below. That way, you know, if anybody's having any issues with their 5/16 rockets, they can go ahead and try to address them while, you know, troubleshooting it really. That's the only way I figured mine out too. That's how I was able to fix my 5/16 rockets. So just real quick, since I have it, I wouldn't use it on this because the rocket's too heavy up top, but it would just look cool. So that's pretty much it for now. Hopefully this helps, and I would like some feedback on John Deere's rockets. Just let me know if you're having any issues. Hopefully it helps. Yep, and that's it for now, until the next video. So for those watching, if you're having any issues with your rockets catoing before they fly with a flash powder up top, just comment down below if you figured out the issue. If it's still there, then there's probably something going on with the clay or even the flash powder itself. I don't know if you can make flash powder too hot, but the black powder could be too hot. In instances, it burns too quickly and it reaches the top, and then it burns out faster than what you expect, and then your rocket blows up. So I forgot to mention that you can do different mixes of black powder. You can do either the 75-15-10, or you can do a 60-30-10, which still works out the same. There's just a slight difference in burn times. I don't really remember how it burns differently with the 60-30-10, but all I know is that my initial video, the 5/16 were blowing up. I was using a 60-30-10, and then when I switched to the 75-15-10, I noticed that my black powder wasn't as fast and it wasn't blowing my rockets up. So maybe the 60-30-10 is faster. You can just kind of Google that and figure it out. I use a lot of the 75-15-10.